Today I've got really big updates for you from the Emerald Princess. We're also going to talk about some things that I think are really important to keep in mind when we are deciding what excursions we are going to do, what activities we are going to do when we are in ports, as well as I think it even applies to some things on the ship. We're going to also talk about some things that I think might be helpful if you are trying to book flights and you are not going round trip from somewhere. And these tips I think what you might find helpful even if you are traveling round trip, and some other updates. Lots to talk about here today. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, I would like to invite you all to please subscribe to our channel. I share lots of travel tips with you here. We talk about cruising every single day, lots of information for you. So I want to make sure that you are never miss anything that you need to know. So hit that subscribe button. And also, if you appreciate these updates, would you please give this video a thumbs up, because that actually really helps us a lot. I've got grand plans for our channel and for our whole Let's Go family. And so join us. We'd love to have you. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Thursday. It is July 20th of 2023. I keep getting the days mixed up. And we have lots to talk about. First off, that strike that has been going off and on and on. It was on for a while, then it was off, then we thought it was going to be on again. Sounds like it is off in British Columbia, that was impacting cruise passengers, even inadvertently sailing in and out of Vancouver. There is an agreement there with the Port Workers Union, the dock workers there, that they would not impact cruise ships, but indirectly, just the nature of the beast there, it had impacted some cruises. It sounds like the union there has decided to call off the strike that was supposed to start again on Saturday. So those of you that are going to be sailing out of Vancouver on Saturday, Sunday, any day, let us know if you receive any updates from your cruise line, any other information, and how things go. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you. The next update I have got for you is the Emerald Princess. Sounds like we have got some gastrointestinal issues that are going around the Emerald Princess. A Let's Go family member was kind enough to send me an email that is on that ship right now. And indeed, the food is being served in the buffet. You don't serve yourself there anymore. There's no salt and pepper out, all of those kind of things. Everyone is being super cautious because it seems like they have had more than their fair share of passengers coming down with gastrointestinal issues. So if anyone has any more updates on that for us, let us know. And I will say, I really do, I'm glad that the cruise lines are responsive when these things happen right away. Here on the Island Princess, they do have hand washing stations installed as you enter the buffet area. And I love that. Even if we have just been in our cabin and just washed our hands, we wash our hands again, because I don't want to catch anything. And really, with those gastrointestinal issues, washing your hands is really what makes all of the difference. Just squirting hand sanitizer on them does not do the same thing. You have to wash your hands really often. So and I think that's a really important thing, no matter what ship you're on, no matter where you are, wash your hands a lot. The next update that I have got for you is, and this is what I want us to talk about. So put down in the comments below some things that come to your mind when we talk about this. I came across a news story the other day that a gentleman, and he was not in Alaska on a cruise. He was someone that lived in Juneau, Alaska. He went kayaking there in the Mendenhall Lake, which if you have been to Alaska, you've been to Juneau, if you've been out to the Mendenhall Glacier, you have seen the Mendenhall Lake. It's the lake right in front of the glacier. This gentleman was kayaking there, and his kayak overturned and he drowned. And I was really that is so sad that that happened. And it got me thinking. They said that clearly it overturned, and in that area of the lake there, once his kayak did capsize, they said that there were very strong currents of water coming down off the glacier into the lake at the area there. And so that is what happened to this gentleman. But it got me thinking a lot, and because this applies to me, you know, I will look at the list of excursions and places and think, oh, I would really like to do that or that. And we read things things. And I think sometimes because we are on vacation, we forget that there is actually some inherent danger in some of the activities that we choose to do. Truly, getting on a bus and going somewhere, there's danger in that because your bus could wreck. But at the same time, I think sometimes there is more danger than we appreciate, whether it's going kayaking, whether it's riding in a helicopter, whether it is going snorkeling in Reykjavik. They actually have an excursion to go snorkeling in Reykjavik, and we actually looked at it because Gordon loves to snorkel so much, but they have like a lot of limitations, and one of them is you cannot be over the age of 60. That is the cutoff. And so sometimes they put these safety measures in effect. I'm sure there are people over 60 who go snorkeling in Reykjavik and who are just fine, but they try to do that. I guess what comes to my mind a lot is like, I should not sign up to go kayaking by myself, because I have never gone kayaking by myself before in my life. And just because it would be really cool to do that in the lake, even if I had other people around and a guide that was, with a group of kayakers, it wouldn't be safe for me to do that because I have never done it. And so I want us to just all kind of think of things like that. I think this gentleman's passing, of course, ever since I read that news story, his family is in our thoughts and prayers. So I hope that any of you feel like you could keep him in your thoughts and prayers. I'm sure they could use that at this time. But at the same time, it was a really good reminder to me to pay attention to the things that I sign up to do, the excursions I sign up to take, even things, when they do that. I thought of the Sun Princess, and they're going to have that new little sea breeze thing they have. And I think I would be too afraid to do that. But just make sure that whatever it is you sign up for, you're really up to it. It doesn't mean like don't try anything new. That's not what I'm suggesting, but just make sure that what you sign up for, you really are in shape to do, and that you can manage it. Just wanted to put that out there. So if all of you will share any experiences that you've had, any thoughts that come to your mind in the comments, that will really help. You guys give the best comments. I read comments under lots of people's videos. You guys are the best, so thank you very much. The other thing that I think we need to talk about, and then we're going to tell you how, as the shore excursion guy said today, the wheels fell off of the immigration and tendering process today here on the Island Princess. So I'll bring you up to date on that and tell you a little bit more about our day. So first of all, though, one of our Let's Go family members sent me an email, and they are no means the only one who has asked this. So I also want your input on this in the comments. A lot of times you can book, when you are going to go on a cruise, you can book your flights with the cruise line that you are sailing with. You can also book them on your own. And often what I think is a good way to do it is like check both. See how much the airline is offering, what you can find with the airlines, and then see what the cruise line is offering. And then kind of choose maybe which offers the best flights, the best price, however you want to do it, but do it from an educated standpoint. A couple of things to keep in mind, especially when you are looking at flights that you want to take, like if you're going into Copenhagen and home from Reykjavik, for example, is one that someone asked me about. The first thing that I always do when we're looking at that is I figure out who the big carriers are that run the most routes between either my airport or neighboring, like close by airports. We usually fly out of Salt Lake City, but I happen to know that Iceland Air runs amazing fares often out of Las Vegas. Would I drive? For us, it's between 5 and 6 hours if you stop very much to drive down to Las Vegas. You can also fly to Las Vegas. So you want to kind of think of those things. Look at other airports close to you, all right? So look at that and figure out who runs the best routes based on where you're flying between, okay? Because that can be really helpful. Usually, not always, but usually, whoever flies the most routes between two places often will have the best price. So I always figure that out first. And then I always check, you have like your Expedia, your Kayak, there's lots of different websites where you can look up the flights. So I always check different ones on those, as well as directly with the airlines. Often when I'm looking for a flight, like Delta is a hub in Salt Lake City. So if I'm looking for a flight with them, I look everywhere, but I also check the website. In addition to that, I also do incognito windows. If you're not familiar with that, if you're like looking at your browser window, I know I use Chrome a lot. I use Chrome, and then I use, what's the other one I use all the time? Edge. I use that a lot. But up in the corner, there's 3 little dots in the right hand corner of the browser, and when you click on that, one of the things you can choose is an incognito window. That way it does not trace what your searching history has been. So if you've been checking flights every day for a week, if you open an incognito window, then it won't catch that, so it'll maybe give you a better price. That's one of the things I do. And I also check flights like several times like a day. I don't always just look at 5 in the afternoon or in the evening. I will look in the evening, I'll look in the morning, I'll look really late at night. Sometimes that's better. I'll check weekends, I'll check during the week. This is when I'm searching for flights, not when the flight's flying. But those are some things that you can kind of hopefully pick something up, and then when you see one that's an awesome price, then be ready to go ahead and grab it. Kind of figure out in your mind the days that you want to go so that when you see an excellent price, you can grab it. That's what I do. And if you just notice that things keep being the same all the time, then you can just choose if you want to book it yourself or if you want to book it with a cruise line. So I hope that some of that helps you a little bit when you're thinking of that. If you all have other tricks that you do or tips that you've got for us and how to book flights and save some money, let us know. Another really important thing is it's amazing to me if you have points or miles with some airlines. I've been looking at tickets lately for trips that I need to take, and sometimes they will have you can look at different times of days to get a better number of miles that they will accept for a flight. Different flights cost different amount, not only of money, but sometimes they're like a whole chunk cheaper on miles or points like that. So kind of look around at different times of day, or even be able to, if you can vary your itinerary by a day sometimes, that will make a nice difference. So that's what I can think of right off, and I hope that helps some of you as you're thinking about things. So really quickly, so today here on the Island Princess, we have had another splendid day. We were in a town called Grundarfjordur. If I'm saying that correctly, I've listened to it as someone suggested, and I think I've got it. But we got here this morning around 8 o'clock, I want to say 8 or 9. I was up early and we watched the sail in and everything, but our time to be downstairs for immigration was 10:10 in the Bayou Cafe. That's where we were running it. The other day, as we came to, as we entered the United Kingdom, they had their Border Patrol people come on board. They had 2 of them. They literally just looked at your passport, looked at you, made sure it was you, and we were done. Today in Iceland, they had 3 Border Patrol agents come on board. They had them at a table, and like those passport scanners that they put your passport down on to scan it, they had to do that to every single passport. The reason being that Copenhagen and Iceland are part of the Schengen immigration agreement, but the United Kingdom is not. So all guests are required to be processed out of the last Schengen country that they are in before the cruise ends in Southampton. So the really interesting thing with that is, so it was really interesting because we were in line it took quite a while, 45 minutes or an hour, and the people in front of us were not very happy at all about all of this and complained, and you would have people walking by making comments, and yeah, it wasn't going as smoothly as you'd hoped. But at the same time, I honestly don't think Princess is in control of that. This is required by these countries, and they can't, honestly, I don't think they can control how many border agents come on board, and probably even when they want to do it. I think that my understanding is from talking to the shore excursion guy, is that this is set up by Iceland. It's not set up by Princess, and they have to let them do their thing. And so it clearly was taking much longer. But when we got downstairs later and were waiting to get on the tender, one of the Princess people were explaining that the reason they have to scan every passport is some of the nations that are part of that Schengen agreement require that. They don't want you, an agent, just to look at it. They actually want the scan as proof that you were there, and then they also check and see if you have got a visa, if you're from somewhere that is visiting somewhere that requires a visa, and if they have to calculate the 90 days and everything. So it was really quite an involved thing this morning, and it took way longer than anybody expected. And then the tenders, I think, were running behind because the immigration was running behind. The whole thing, it just took way longer than anyone expected. So it's really important to pack your patience. Don't get mad about a long line. They were coming through and catching people. We were in line, like I said, our time was 10:10, and we got there about 10:10. We were prompt, but the line was huge. It went, like, if you're familiar with Island Princess, or if you want to look at the deck plan, it started at the Bayou Cafe and went down past the piazza. It was a long line, but we got to be in line. A couple of Let's Go family members, Lori and her husband Lee, were like not directly behind us, but two behind us, so it was a pleasure to get to see them again. And the people behind us were really nice. It was just nice to visit with people and just let things go by. And they did come along and make sure that people that had excursions much earlier were taken care of and could get to the front of the line so they could hurry up and get ashore and see everything, you know, be there for their excursion. But other than that, so we went ahead and took the tender, went in, walked around the town. It is a teeny tiny town. But if you are going to visit the Grundarfjordur there, they do have a shuttle bus that comes every half an hour. It costs €10, and it takes you to a waterfall, drives you around, and you can get out at the waterfall, and then you can stay there as long as you want. We talked to a really nice Let's Go family member from Malaysia, and they did it. She said it was wonderful. You can get off if you want to stay out at the waterfall and go down and take pictures. If you want to be there for an hour longer, you can. He just keeps running us like between the waterfall and back into the center of town there. Said it was outstanding. So the next time, if we ever get to come here again, that's what we're going to do. The excursion we had was spectacular. It was absolutely wonderful. I really feel like, you know, sometimes you go somewhere on a cruise trip and you feel like you just saw the little town and you didn't really experience the place. Today, I really feel like we experienced the place. We will put the name of the excursion. We are going to put the video out about it. Our tour guide was excellent. She gave so much information about the area. I've got footage because I videoed out the bus window and the places we went. I hiked down to a black pebble beach that was extraordinary, down the side of the cliff. It was just amazing. But we ended up really feeling like we saw Iceland, and really, you know, one of our Let's Go family members, who was so kind to book cruises with me, before we went, she said, "Oh, you are going to fall in love with Iceland." And I thought, yeah, I'm going to really like it. Oh my goodness, there is something about this place. You do fall in love with it. It is truly spectacular. So if you missed our sail away tonight, make sure that you go back and watch it because the scenery is so beautiful. And tomorrow evening we will be sailing out of Reykjavik. It will be later. It'll be 10 p.m. Reykjavik time that we're leaving, but it's not going to be dark all the way yet. Sunset isn't until sometime between 11:30 and midnight, and it never gets all the way dark here. So we have not seen the northern lights because it doesn't get dark enough. But so anyway, we had a spectacular day. So Gordon will put in a couple of pictures at the end of this video, and then keep your eye out for the video about that excursion, because if you're coming here, it is a really good excursion to do. The other thing that is really cool about this region is they have lots of beautiful, beautiful birds. They've got clearly all of this volcanic lava, this just beautiful scenery. It's a remarkable place. It's a remarkable place. So thank you for coming along with me. Please put in the comments if you have got any questions. If you need anything at all, send me an email, and we're delighted to help you with travel, try to answer your questions. And if I think it's something, or I've heard from a lot of people about, then I'll put it in a video. But thank you so very much for being with us. I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.